Sanibona Mzansi standing before you once again, proud host of the Non-Name Archive Sports Show. Siya Dumisa Wagamadi. We are honored to be in Max Park to witness the champions of the Orlando Pirates Cup. This is Max Park with Coach Farouk Khan. Coach, good afternoon, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. How are you doing, my brother?
I'm good, Coach. Coach, before we go any further, welcome to the show. And very important, congratulations on a job well done in the Pirates Cup.
Thank you very much. A lot of credit should go to the players. But once again, it was really an honor to play in that cup.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the beautiful football. So, Coach, Max Park is where you train. Is it your home, the home of Stars of Africa?
Yeah, Max Park has been the home of Stars of Africa for the last 7 years. And we really have been given a great opportunity with the City Council to use this facility. And we hope that we can produce some good players moving forward.
Okay. Thank you so much. For those who don't know, Coach Farouk Khan has produced good players. As he said, the May Mahlangus, Tukelo Rantis, just to name a few, Coach. The list is endless. So this is where they were all bred.
Yeah, they were all bred here during the period that they were here. We weren't officially here, but we were subletting at the time. But Tefu Mashamaiti, Tukelo Ranti, May Mashlangu, Sibusiso Kumalo, Ematus Tralani.
Yes.
All of them came from here.
Makes sense. Oh, Coach has a beautiful his trophy cabinet, the players that he has on his walls. Just amazing. You'll see it in the pictures. Amazing stuff. This guy's done so much. So, Coach, working with youngsters, we all know it's a bit of a problem financially. Some are not free, some are not well spoken. How do you deal with such things? How do you handle them?
Well, you need to understand the player you're working with, and you need to get into his psyche. You need to get into his background, his social background. I think it's always good to know your player so that you are able to maximize the potential of that individual.
And then, Coach, financially, are you sponsored? Because obviously running such a facility and all this costs money, it costs funds. So how do you manage on a day-to-day basis?
Well, we don't have a sponsor, but what keeps us on our toes is that we need to produce players so that we can market those players both locally and abroad so that we can get some compensation. And obviously, that compensation keeps the fires burning at Stars of Africa. It would be fantastic if we had a sponsor. We could do so much more, not only at Stars, but to spread the gospel to other parts of the country.
Okay, it makes sense. Well said, Coach. So, Coach, I don't want to keep you long because obviously the boys are waiting.
No problem.
So, Coach, I witnessed during the Pirates Nike Cup, you had your number 10. And I asked around, I forgot his name, but they said he's a 14-year-old. But I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
KG.
KG, yes, I think you did say KG. So, Coach, players like KG and your other players, what's the criteria? How do you select them, and how do you see that this one has potential like KG? Like, what do you look at? What's the criteria?
Well, we have a criteria when we're scouting players. We look for players who have speed, but not only speed of action, speed of decision making, speed of thought. We look at their personalities. In South Africa, it's a little bit difficult because you have players who come from different cultural backgrounds. So if a player is quiet, it doesn't mean he doesn't have a personality. He's just somebody that's not very talkative. So when we look at him, we look at his personality on the field rather than off the field. How he is able to communicate with his teammates, how he's able to impose himself on the opposition. That in itself is a form of personality. Then we look at the player's intelligence, his decision making. I was saying to the guys early on when we were doing a rondo that to be able to make good decisions, you need to have spatial awareness. You need to know what's happening around you. So before you even get to decisions, you must have eyes to see what decisions need to be made. So the two go hand in hand. And then obviously the last one after intelligence is technique. The reason we see technique as something that is not the first prerequisite is because you can enhance it, you can develop it if the player has raw talent. Whereas speed, you can't do much. You're either born with the speed or not.
True.
So when we bring him into the academy, we start emphasizing now on technique. We turn the word around. It's not a word that I invented. It's a word that Ajax Amsterdam have used for decades. It's called SPIT. S for speed, P for personality, I for intelligence, T for technique.
The professor himself.
So when you bring him in, you turn the word around. Now you turn it into tips. You work on his technique, his intelligence, his personality, and speed. So it's a very short, concise. I hate it when you have an analysis of players and you have a big sheet with 100 things on it.
Yes.
How do you really, analyze the player because you're busy writing more than what you're looking at the player. So when you have a short acronym like SPIT and TIPS, it's easy because all those things that you want are within those three alphabets.
Wow, I just learned something new. I'll be getting an invoice from you because you just had class now. Hey? So, coach, in South Africa, our players have been known for overindulging.
Yeah.
I don't want to go into detail there, but you all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, coach, how do you deal with that? Do you tell them at an early age that you must treat your sports in a professional manner? How do you deal with that? Have you had players in your own academy who have fallen down the rails through the institution? Like, how do you deal with that, coach?
It's a very difficult thing for a coach or for an institution to teach. It's our society on the whole that these kids are growing up in, that influence these kids' way of thinking. It's also peer pressure. When you become a famous player and you have a lot of money, which you never had, and suddenly you have friends coming from everywhere, and you have the most beautiful ladies that are on your side, it's hard to resist. I mean, you're a human being. So I don't think it's a fault of coaches or of youth institutions or of clubs that are the reason why players drink. It's just your background. You find I've had players over the past many. Some of them have turned to when they became famous to alcohol. Others haven't. You look at the likes of Tlantla Kubeka. You look at Amethyst Stralani. You look at May Mashlango. You look at Tefuma Shemaiti. These are all exemplary people. So when people look at it, they look at the one or two players. They look at Zongo, but they don't look at the other players that SuperSport developed during his time that were sterling players, very good players. So I think we have to make an effort through sport to start educating kids at school, because at school there's not much football or sports development. And then there must be an element of life skills attached. These things you and I are talking about should be taught. When we talk about AIDS prevention, when we talk about hygiene, when we talk about substance abuse, when we talk about treating our female counterparts with respect and with dignity and not abusing them. These are things kids must learn from a very young age. When they get to the first year in school, we should start making that part of our syllabi so that we have a society that are able to be mindful of all these ills, and a society that's a healthy society where we will maximize everything, whether it be in commerce, whether it be in sport, whether it be in general life. We talk about Ubuntu.
Yes, of course.
I am who I am because of you. We have to teach that. We can't just say it. Sometimes we say it, but we don't enforce it from a young age or teach it.
No, thank you so much once again for your insightfulness, coach. So all in all, to sum it all up, so basically we all have a role to play. We as reporters, parents at home, coaches, your peers, it's a societal issue. It's not just a coach Farouk Khan or a coach whoever issue.
Absolutely. We teach them. We speak to them all the time. I mean, I've spoke to Scapi, I spoke to Junior, I spoke to Jabu about these things. I warned them about it because I was involved with professional football, that you must not. But, they, like my father once taught me, you rather give somebody a 10 rand, he'll take it sooner than he takes your advice. Because you can advise. But in that moment, when that player is with other people who are influential in his life, and they decide to go to a pub and they decide to... Some of these kids, when they get to us, they're already, exposed to alcohol abuse as young as... Because most of the talent we get sometimes are coming to us at 15, 16.
Of course.
And at that time, I'm telling you, if you go now to schools, kids are already... There's substance abuse at a very young age, even 13, 14. Whether it be drugs, whether it be liquor, whatever. So it's something that we as a nation, our government must start having programs. We must empower our former legends to go to schools and use football as a vehicle. And during the football development cycle, have life skills attached to it. So when you finish your session, you put the boys down and give them some good examples of how beneficial it can be to live a clean life.
Yes. No, thank you so much. Well said. Coach, thank you so much for your time. Now that that's out of the way, coach, just to take you back down in memory lane, guys, just so you know, the best Kaizer Chiefs team that I have watched in my time, I didn't watch about Isin Zweleng, I didn't watch about Dr. Kumalo, but the best Chiefs team that I watched was when this guy, Mr. Ted Dumitru, Dr. Kumalo, who else was in your technical team? You, Dr. Kumalo. Ace. Yes. That's the best Chief that I watched. They went on to win 2 league titles back to back. Tiki was there. John Shuzim Shwewu, Collins Mbesuma, Brian Balowi, Rowan Fernandez and goal. It was just a star-studded team, played good football. That's the last best team that I watched in my time. Coach, am I wrong if I say that's the last best Kaizer Chiefs team that you've witnessed? I mean, the team of Middendorp for me didn't play the best football, but they just knew how to win. And the team of Stuart Baxter didn't play the most beautiful football, they just knew how to win. But now this team played good football and they knew how to win. And they had the professor coach, Ted Dumitru. Coach, just a few words on that team.
Sure, that was a phenomenal team. You know, I still have fond memories of that team. You mentioned something important. We were not just going to look at winning matches, we wanted to win in style. Because you must understand the name of Kaiser Chiefs is so important to take cognizance of. They were known as the Glamour Boys.
Exactly.
Now, when you put the word glamour next to a team, you're seeing something that's glitzy, something that's exciting. And that's what we aim to do, you know, even at the time with Mushina Tugral. We played a very good brand of football. Obviously, with Ted Dumitru, the 2 years you're speaking about, it was phenomenal. You know, Tinash Nangomash, Tlantla Kubeka, Isaac Mabotsa,
What a team.
Gerald Sibeko, short player, but what a dynamo. But this is what brought the people to the stadiums in numbers, because we were able to win and entertain. And that's important. It's like Barcelona, they're not just happy with winning.
Yes.
And that is why they brought back Xavi to ensure that they get back to their roots. You know, your identity is something. A brand has an identity. And Kaiser Chiefs' brand is to play entertaining football. You could win a league, you could win a game, but the fans will be happy now.
Exactly.
Because obviously the team hasn't won for so long, but they want to see.
Of course.
They want to see that. And a good example today is Sundowns has sort of perfected that. You know, and people, the new generation is flocking to watch them. So, I mean, all the clubs need to up their game now. You know, as a South African, exciting, entertaining football.
Speaking of exciting and entertaining, we forgot to mention a player called Skarango Bese.
Yeah.
He's also part of that team, hey?
Yes, what a player.
I remember him doing a 360 at Kings Park Stadium in the SAA. Was it the final, ne?
Yeah.
And Ted didn't shout. You guys,
No.
you did not shout.
No. How can you shout a player when he's doing a skill that means he's able to slow down the game? That wasn't that. Yes, of course, people will look at it as trying to be over elaborate. But what we realized was when Skara was doing that, he was doing it simply to kill the tempo of the game.
Of course.
And he did not lose possession. But what people fail to remember is, what did he do after that skill? He was able to make a pinpoint pass to Collins Mbesuma.
Yes.
And this is important. So we encourage skill, but it must be effective skill. It must be if you want to have a lot of flair in your game, we allow it, as long as it doesn't work against the team's strategy and tactics.
No, Coach, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We appreciate your time. Once again, congratulations on winning the Pirates Cup. Thank you so much for the wisdom you've shared. I've learned so much today. Thank you for hosting us. We had a beautiful day. Hope to see you soon. Stay humble. Please continue teaching. I see you took after the Professor Ted Dumitru. Now you are the professor. You are now schooling us, and congratulations. Hope God blesses your endeavors and He blesses this whole situation.
Thank you very
All the
much.
best, Coach. Thank you for your time. Stay humble. Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
very much.
Cheers.